Esteemed educators, fellow graduates, and families, I just want to take a second to really share my sincere gratitude for honoring me as the recipient of the 2014 Head of School Award. All of the students graduating today, whether sitting here or watching this on a live stream from another state, continent, or country, are unbelievably talented, and I'm truly humbled that you guys chose me to represent the class of 2014 as we graduate today. So, attending an online high school is a completely different experience than what you would get at a brick-and-mortar school. I think all of you can agree with me that even our commencement ceremony is quite different than what most people experience for their high school graduation. After all of us graduates, all 12 of us, just met the classmates that were able to attend today, and some of the graduates didn't even get to meet their classmates because they're off traveling, competing, or doing something extraordinary. But when the 7 of us that were able to attend were talking and meeting each other, we were talking about things like where we're from, what languages we speak, what colleges we're going to, what we're doing to make a difference in the world through our UMGA service learning projects. Now, these are not the typical conversation topics of high school seniors as they graduate high school, but it is this difference that I find fantastic and remarkable. I celebrate that this graduation is different and that these graduates are different than the rest. So, what exactly does it mean to be different? Well, being different is definitely not comfortable or easy. Think about it, if everyone's doing one thing and you decide to break free and do another, you're no longer going to fit in with the bulk of people. Not because you're wrong or unapproachable, but simply because people are going to have a hard time relating to you because you're doing something different. You're not the typical, not the average, not the standard, not the norm. Country singer Hunter Hayes wrote a song called Invisible, where he says, "Crowded hallways are the loneliest places for outcasts and rebels or anyone who just dares to be different." It's true. I mean, you walk onto most high school campuses and you see many people mirroring the looks, actions, and values of others. So you see people looking the same, talking the same, acting the same, walking the same, wearing the same clothes. Why? Well, I believe it's a lack of individuality and ultimately courage, as she said. So, I mean, to be different, to make your mark on the world, to strive to make a difference and not simply do what is popular, takes a lot of courage. So if being different is so challenging, takes a lot of courage, and can essentially make you feel alienated, now why would you do it? Why would you take a step on a path not walked? Why would you take a chance and do something no one has ever done? Well, perhaps if you don't, maybe no one will, and that is more frightening to me by far. Take, for example, Tim Tebow, former professional American football quarterback for the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets. Now, I'll be the first to admit I still have to lean over to my dad and ask what's going on at a high school football game or college football game, so I would not say that I'm a knowledgeable football fan at all. But I certainly know who Tim Tebow is. Tim Tebow made a point to wear his faith on his sleeve loud and proud, to write Bible verses under his eyes at games, and to publicly say that he is disciplined enough to remain pure until marriage. Now, why would he do this if he knew that he would receive criticism from haters? Tebow chose not to deny his true self. He chose to follow his faith. He chose to set an example for others who want to be different but are afraid to. He took his platform mainstream and inspired others everywhere by sending the message that even athletes who must maintain their tough persona can express their faith and honor their values. Now, I love to watch the Ellen DeGeneres show because she has a passion for bringing light to people who wouldn't normally be seen as cool. Ellen herself has challenged daytime television. I mean, she's a talented comedian with a talk show that's meant to bring happiness to people's lives. She shows that it's okay to be who you are, whoever you are. Earlier this year, I watched an episode on her show on which Ellen interviewed a 7-year-old piano prodigy. Now, this young boy is from Brandon, Florida. His name is Elias Phoenix. And this child was probably the most energetic, hyper, happy kid I've ever seen. His hair went down to his hips. He had a white button-down shirt, a black vest, black bow tie, and a sparkly glitter hat. He was definitely not the average 7-year-old boy. so full of life and just took all of the adults in the room aback. He was purely himself and wasn't afraid to be just that. Now, I honestly think that this 7-year-old kid in a room of all adults was probably one of, if not the most courageous people in that room. The adults were laughing at his eccentric personality and were almost uncomfortable with how outgoing the boy was. But then Ellen asked him to play the piano. He effortlessly danced over to the instrument, sat down, said a couple funny things, and then he looked down at his hands and his fingers just took over the piano. He played this beautiful, complex classical piece. You clearly saw the awe in the eyes of the adults as they admired this child. Now, shortly after Elias was featured on Ellen's show, he was invited back. And as Ellen was introducing him, she said that he was one of the most memorable kids they have ever had on the show. Now, if Elias had been a little boy, short-haired, jeans and t-shirt wearing, shy, typical 7-year-old boy, sure, he probably would have been able to still have been featured on Ellen's show because of his piano skills. However, because he was different, because he wasn't afraid to walk to his own beat, he was invited back a month later. He was memorable. You see, the people who are different, the people who do something different, are the people who have books written about them. They're the people who don't just make a change, they are the change. They're the people who we study in history class. Yeah, the people who are different make history. Now, each of us in this room is on the way to make history. Graduates, we partook in an unconventional education. We are experiencing today an unconventional commencement ceremony. We are beautifully different. Parents and families, you encourage and enable the flexible one-on-one educations that us graduates received. You went out of your way to give us this unique experience. Faculty, you created and assembled the model of UMGA to give us students the chance to follow our dreams and be different while excelling academically. You are unique. Shania Twain once said, "I find that the very things that I get criticized for, which is usually being different and just doing my own thing and just being original, is the very thing that is making me successful." Classmates, faculty, families, I encourage all of you to be inspired by these journeys, learn to be memorable, embrace difference, and make history. You were born an original, don't become a copy. Thank you and congratulations, Class of 2014.